The other face.
Part 3 of Kaori's story. Kaori hadn't said her sister's name in years, not since the funeral. Her name was Miyu, 2 years younger, quieter, a shadow in Kaori's bright, driven wake. Growing up, they'd shared everything: bedroom walls, after-school snacks, dumb secrets whispered under the blankets. But something shifted in high school. Kaori got the awards, the compliments, the attention. Miyu just watched. One rainy afternoon, they fought. It was stupid. Kaori had snapped at her for borrowing a shirt, and Miyu shouted something back, something that would echo in Kaori's ears for years. "You don't even see me. I could disappear and you'd still look in the mirror and think it was you." Miyu went missing that night. They found her 3 days later, in the river by the overpass. No note, no one saw her jump. Just her body. And her face, strangely pale, waterlogged, almost unreadable. Kaori never forgave herself. She buried it. Buried Miyu. Buried the guilt. She never spoke of that fight. Never answered the questions. She became a different version of herself. Polite, hardworking, always smiling. Always wearing the right face. But now, with the Noppera bow stalking her steps, the mask was slipping. And Kaori began to wonder, had she really buried Miyu at all? The dreams came nightly now. In them, Kaori would walk through an empty house. No furniture, no sound, except for a low, wet breathing behind her. She would turn and find Miyu standing there, soaked, silent, and without a face. Kaori would cry, try to speak, but Miyu would only raise one trembling hand and press it to her own smooth skin as if to say, "This was your doing." One night, Kaori woke to find her bathroom door open. The lights were on. She'd taped a towel over the mirror days ago, but now it had fallen off. Drawn in, trembling, she stepped inside. At first, the reflection was normal, but then Miyu appeared behind her, slowly placing her hands on Kaori's shoulders in the mirror, though Kaori felt nothing on her actual skin. Miyu's mouth formed, like mist swirling on a windowpane, and she whispered, "You're wearing the face I left behind." Kaori screamed and smashed the mirror. Glass sprayed across the sink like shattered eyes. And from one shard on the floor, a blank face stared back. The next day, Kaori returned to the reflection room. She demanded answers from the monk. Is the Noppera bow my sister?" The monk frowned. "No, not exactly." "Then what is she?" He looked into the shadows behind Kaori as he spoke. "She is what remains when the world forgets someone's truth. When they are silenced, ignored, erased. She's not Miyu, but she may have worn her. And now she's trying to wear you." Kaori didn't sleep that night. She dug through old photo albums, old notebooks, anything that still held her sister's presence. She found a drawing, crude, childish, a sketch of 2 girls holding hands. One was smiling, the other had no face. Miyu's handwriting was on the back. "And maybe if I smile like you, people will see me too." Kaori wept. For the first time in years, she said her sister's name aloud. "Miyu, I see you now." And somewhere deep in the city, in a flickering overpass light, the faceless woman stood still and turned away. To be continued. Part 4 of her story. The Hollow Mirror. Part 4 of Kaori's story, a descent into the dream world of the Noppera bow. It began with a mirror, not broken, not in her apartment. This one stood upright in the middle of her room, tall, antique, with a carved black frame that pulsed softly, like breath. It hadn't been there the night before. Kaori stood before it, half hypnotized. Her reflection stared back, but something was off. Not her eyes, not her mouth, her absence. Because in the mirror, she wasn't there. When she reached out and touched the glass, the surface rippled and pulled her in. Kaori fell into a world of gray mist and shifting shadows, where the ground was made of shattered glass and memories flickered like film reels across the sky. This was not a dream. It was a memory made into a place, a dream world constructed by regret. A quiet voice echoed from the void. "You buried me, so I buried your face." She turned and saw Miyu, faceless again, standing in a field of discarded masks. Hundreds of them. Each face was Kaori's, smiling, crying, blank, twisted, and each whispered something different. "I'm fine. It wasn't my fault. No one ever listens. She was in the way. I miss her. Kaori fell to her knees. I didn't mean to forget you, she said. I didn't know how to carry you with me. It hurt too much. The world trembled. Miyu turned slowly, face still a smooth void. Then a door appeared, floating above the glass. A school door, a memory from their youth. Kaori stepped through. She was a teenager again, sitting in their childhood bedroom. Miyu was beside her, alive, quiet, sketching in her notebook. Kaori tried to speak to her, but the dream wouldn't let her. Her voice came out as muffled static. Miyu didn't look up. She drew a face without eyes. Then another door opened, this one a hospital corridor. Kaori followed, heart pounding. She entered a room where her adult self sat with a therapist, stone-faced, telling them, I had a sister, but she's gone now. Her reflection on the glass table showed her without a face. A final door opened. This one led to the river. Night, rain, the overpass. Miyu stood at the edge. Kaori screamed, but the dream pinned her in place. Miyu turned, not to look at her, but as if listening to something behind her. And Kaori realized the faceless woman had always been there. Not Miyu, something older, something that feeds on silence, on what is not said. And now it looked at her, and spoke in a voice that echoed with Miyu's, her mother's, her own. You wear a mask of strength, but even masks crack. Would you like me to take your face, Kaori? It's heavy. You've worn it too long. Kaori stepped forward. Tears streamed down her real cheeks. Then take it. But leave me. The faceless woman hesitated. Then she touched Kaori's cheek. There was a coldness, a weight lifting, a flood of memories, pain, joy, guilt, sorrow, all of it pouring through her at once like water bursting from a dam. Kaori screamed, but did not break. When she woke, the antique mirror was gone. But she remembered everything, Miyu's face, her laugh, her sadness, her absence. And Kaori's own face felt strange now, lighter, not hollow, but real. She walked to her bathroom mirror, uncovered it, and looked at herself. Her reflection stared back, and finally matched, but in the lower corner of the mirror, a faint, foggy outline still lingered. Not a threat. Just a presence. Watching. Waiting. Because the faceless woman never really leaves. She just moves on. To the next soul hiding behind a mask. To be continued. Faces in the Fog. Final chapter of Kaori's story. Her return, not as victim, but as witness. It's been 11 months since the dream. Since Kaori woke up with her own face again. She doesn't take the train anymore. Not because she's afraid, but because she walks. Slowly, watchfully, listening. Because she knows now. The Noppera is not a curse. She is a consequence. And somewhere, someone is always hiding behind a smile they don't mean. Behind silence they never chose. Kaori can see them now. By day, she volunteers at a grief counseling center in Shinjuku. Most people assume she's a therapist in training. She isn't. She never introduces herself as anything but Kaori. But when the quiet ones speak, haltingly, nervously, she leans in, gently. She recognizes the tremble in their voice, the mask they wear. One evening, a girl named Aiko stays late after group. She's polite, smart, always smiling. But her stories never use I, always my friend, or someone I know. Kaori watches her eyes. They never match her mouth. Do you ever feel, Kaori asks softly, like you're telling your story through someone else's face? Aiko freezes. Then slowly nods. I don't even know what my real face looks like anymore. Kaori reaches into her bag and takes out a small shard of mirror, smooth-edged and worn. You don't have to look yet, she says, but keep it. When you're ready, it'll show you the truth. That night, Kaori walks home through the back streets. Fog rolls in, low and thin. She passes a man yelling on a phone, a woman crying behind a vending machine, a child staring into a puddle like it's a window. She sees them all, and above them, sometimes, if she looks just long enough, she sees her. The faceless woman, not hunting, waiting, because the Noppera bow doesn't steal faces. She only reminds you what you've hidden. At her apartment, Kari lights a candle and sets a photo of Mai Mew beside it. She doesn't cry. She speaks. I remember you, and I remember myself. In the mirror, her face remains, calm, a little tired, a little older, but hers. And from somewhere beyond the glass, a whisper, barely there. Good. The end.